Hey friends, welcome back to Under the Covers. It's April, which means it's Arab American Heritage Month, and we are celebrating today by recommending some incredible authors with Arab heritage that deserve a spot on your TBR. So if you've been wanting to diversify your bookshelf, and maybe you're in the mood for a new favorite with rich culture, layered characters, and some gorgeous storytelling, then this is the episode for you. We've got a mix of romance, fantasy, and some young adult contemporary, because you know we love a mix of genres around here. So if you're ready for that, let's get into some Arab American authors who are totally killing it and why their books belong on your radar. I actually have a bit of a mixed hodgepodge of books, and some of them might be authors that you might have heard of, but I wanted to highlight books that maybe you didn't hear of yet. So I have a young adult, contemporary, post 9/11 coming of age story, a historical romance with a bit of mystery and steam, and also an adult vampire fantasy heist kind of thing. So let's get into the first one, which is An Emotion of Great Delight by Tahereh Mafi. So this is a very popular author. She is, though, well known for her young adult fantasy series, kind of dystopian series, the Shatter Me series. So if you're expecting a bit of that, that's not what this book is. This is contemporary. It is based on her kind of like a bit of her life experiences post 9/11. So it's very different. It's a very powerful and kind of quiet, subdued book, but it definitely packs a punch. So it's set in 2003, post 9/11 America. And we follow a teenager, a hijabi wearing teenager named Shadi. And she's trying to hold herself together. Basically, everything in her world is crumbling. She lost her brother. Her father is dying. And her family is just falling apart. At the same time, she is a teenager. Her best friend is ghosting her. And outside of her house, besides all of that, the world is very hostile to Muslims and Arabs. So it's a very intense period of time, and she's having to deal with all of that. And I think what the author does incredibly well is showing you all of that with the personal struggles, with the outside world struggles, with the Islamophobia and all of that. But also, she's weaving a lot of hope through the story, and I think that that is something that she did really well with it. It's also dealing with a lot of grief because there is a lot going on in her personal life, so you're having to experience that grief and all of the struggles through the lens of a young adult. She is young, she's dealing with all of these things. There's also a little bit of love, identity, and at the same time, it's how she has to choose joy in spite of everything that is going on in her life. So it's not very plot heavy. It's more of a character driven story. You're really inside of her life experiences and going through all of that. You're also dealing with the very real and very intense moment in time, which was post 9/11 America. And going through that as a Muslim woman. So that is definitely something that was very difficult. You get to experience a lot of that. So it's kind of like a soul to soul conversation kind of book where you're really getting to experience a different life experience, put yourself in the shoes of someone else. So I really, really love this. But, if you do like your young adult fantasy and dystopian, definitely her Shatter Me series is extremely popular. But I think this is one of her more lesser known or lesser talked about books, which I think it's very intimate. It's a impactful story. It's very personal also for the author, and I definitely think that you should give that one a chance. The next author is a historical romance author, and I think if you are a historical romance or just a romance reader in general, you should definitely check out this author. This is actually book 2 in the Clandestine Affairs series. It's The Viscount Made Me Do It by Diana Quincy. What I love about her historical romances is that you're going to get stories that are not the regular cookie cutter like debutante balls or the rake with the diamond of the season kind of stories. So there's stories that are full of scandals and secrets. There's a bit of a sexy mystery too. So in this story, we have the heroine Hannah. She is a bone setter. And I guess you can kind of say, like, back in the day, you would call this kind of like a chiropractor situation. She's been building her practice, her business, and she is very smart, very competent. She's working class, and she is the daughter of foreign merchants. And society doesn't really want her to, mingle with anything. Just stay in your lane and don't make any waves. The hero is a Viscount. He has war trauma. He has a bad reputation, and he actually thinks that she is related or linked to his parents' death. And is trying to figure out the connection with that. And immediately they have incredible chemistry. So there's a bit of a slow burn relationship that starts building between them. There is, of course, the class differences and the ethnic differences and how society sees her. So there's a lot that they have to deal with. There's his status, he is part of the aristocracy, but he also has that hidden agenda. He is trying to figure out what happened to his parents' death and all of that. But at the same time, he can't stop falling in love with her. So it's a beautiful story. I absolutely loved it. Great storytelling. So if you want a historical romance, it's a little bit different than the norm. Definitely check out any of Diana Quincy's books. It's always going to have a heroine that is unique and not the traditional mold. And I feel the hero also in this case is a bit broken. So there's a lot of healing that has to come in this particular story for both of our characters. Also, there is a real mystery running through the romance, which I always really enjoy as well when there is a bit of a mystery with the romance and the theme. So I think this one packs everything in one. There's some danger, there's emotion, there's healing, there's all of that. And this one is actually also available on Kindle Unlimited. So if you are a reader on Kindle Unlimited, definitely pick this one up. I love that it's the fact that it's a heroine that has actual skills, that is not just like embroidery and dancing and all of those things. So I really love that one. And the last book that I have is A Tempest of Tea by Hafsah Faizal. So this is the first in a new series. It's an adult fantasy series. I think it's called the Blood and Tea series, if I'm not mistaken. And this book came out last year. I really loved it last year. The second book is coming out in September, which I am looking forward to. And this one is kind of like Peaky Blinders meets Six of Crows and a bit of an underground vampire politics. So it's really, really fun. So we have our heroine, Arthi, who runs a tea house. And that tea house also moonlights as a blood house for vampires, and kind of think of like a speakeasy for vampires. So very secret societies kind of thing. And then her whole empire is threatened, and she has to basically plan a high stakes infiltration into the vampire elite society, which is called the Ethereum. And she puts together this scrappy crew of misfits to do that. There's great found family vibe in this. There's some banter, some betrayal, lots of loyalties. You got a little bit of that mafia kind of vibe to it. But, everybody in sharp suits and all of that. So it's a very interesting take on vampire fantasy, which I really, really loved. And our heroine, Arthi herself, is kind of like, she's not totally heartless, but she is a pretty determined and cutthroat heroine. She's calculating, she's very smart, she's very driven as well. And, I'm not going to say too much with spoilers, but there is a bit of a tension and partnership there, that kind of romance, but I'm not going to say romance. So we'll see what happens with book 2. But there is a bit of that tension there as well. So I think this is a great, very unique take on vampires that I think everybody should check out. So something very new. And also, Hafsah Faizal is more well known for her young adult We Hunt the Flame. And that one is Arabian inspired fantasy. So if you want a bit of that, you can check that out. But this one is more adult, it's moodier, it's a bit bloodier. I definitely really enjoyed it. It's very unique. All right, that's it for me today. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and tap that little bell notification so you don't miss any video from us. And if you want to keep up with everything that we're sharing across all platforms, book recommendations, behind the scenes, reading guides, and all of it, make sure that you are following us for free over on Substack too. If you want even more recommendations for Arab American authors that you can check out, I will leave a link to our Novel Hour live show, where we also have some literary authors that you should definitely add to your TBR. So that's going to be also in our description box down below, and all the links to the books that I mentioned are also there as well. But for today, that's all I have for you guys. I will see you in the next video. Bye!